Is your small home office feeling cramped and chaotic? Well, mine may never be completely clutter-free. Today, we're making it so much better. In episode 4 of Fall into Organization, we're tackling the small space, organizing and clearing the desk to make it more functional and manageable. Ready to transform your space with me? Let's dive in. My office is the one space in the house where if somebody doesn't know what to do with something at the moment, they just tuck it behind the couch into my office. Everybody does it, not just me, everybody. And it makes no sense because I work here. And it's very hard to concentrate and work when you have a mess growing around you. So I'm going to start right here with this bag of things that don't belong here, and maybe some of them do. It's all mixed together. You know how I am with bags, and I just toss whatever in and deal with it later. Well, here's the deal with it later. So I'm sorting everything out, and anything that needs to go upstairs or in another room will get sorted tonight before I go to bed and put away. And some of these things, I have so many of them, I am just going to get rid of them. I'm not even going to think about it. I'm just going to lose them right now. Now, the way that I'm doing this may not work for you. Maybe there's some other way that you declutter or go through things and it's quicker for you, and that's great. But at the end of the day, the thing that matters most is that you are able to put your hands on something, to look at it, and to decide what needs to happen with it. And here is the guest star. He has arrived in my office to see if he can get my attention. And get my attention he does many times when I'm at my desk lately, because he crawls straight up my leg, into my lap, and onto the keyboard of my computer. At this particular moment, though, he decided he was going to find out exactly what was going on in this office and where all his hiding spots were going. Max has already gained many, many nicknames. He's Max and Maximus and Maximilian and Maxikins and Baby and Kitten and many other names that I can't even remember offhand. Poor little guy's not even going to know his real name. And here you see stuff going back into the bag. This is all stuff that needs to go into other rooms, and throughout this video I will proceed to fill this bag. And since I'm voiceovering this, I can tell you exactly what happened to all of this stuff. Bella and I sat on the floor of the living room last night, and I sorted through the bags, and she helped me. And anything that needed to be put away downstairs, she ran and put it away. And then she ran the bag up to my room, where today I have to put what is left away. She took all her stuff out of the bag, and there was nothing for Trevor in the bag. And there were a few things of Greg's in the bag, so a lot of the stuff in that particular bag was mine. And we also went through the other bag and did the same exact thing. The paper bag that you see in this video is actually trash. I decided to keep these Miracle-Gro plant spikes in my bag so that I would know where they were. And plus, I didn't want them out with the animals and so forth and little ones coming over. Bella knows not to get into things like that, but, you know, never say never. So I put them away and made sure that they were put up and out of sight, out of mind. That's what my husband always says. And I realize that a lot of you may not have the luxury of a space for an office or a room or whatever. I assume that most people, you know, maybe even just use their table or whatever to do bills, or they have a computer desk that's in another room. And if you have a space like that, you can follow along and just clear one of those spaces, or heck, you can clean your living room with me. Clean anything you like. Declutter anything you like. This is really more for your entertainment and company than anything else. I'm not a teacher. I'm not an expert. I just do what works for me. And I hope that you develop skills that work for you, that you use. And I have good news to report. My kitchen has been spotless since the last video where I was cleaning my kitchen. I have been doing the dishes every night before I go to bed. I've been trying to do them once during the middle of the day, so I'm not letting them build up. And I've been staying on top of making sure that nobody leaves anything on the counters, like, trash or anything like that, that everything goes where it goes. And it's really been motivating Bella, because I noticed that she has become more helpful over the last, I'd say, week. She has been refilling my coffee station and watch the community post, because I'm actually going to be posting something about that. And she helped me with the living room last night. And the other morning, I heard her unloading the dishwasher and rinsing the dishes just like I do real quickly, the glasses. And she let them dry and then put them away. So she has been a super big help to me lately, and I so appreciate that. So like I told you guys the other day, I got my new phone, and works great, everything's great. But while I was recording this video, and I really need to find the spot where it happened, the phone on the tripod, which I used my tripod that likes to wiggle because it's small in here, I must have caught it with my foot and it fell over, phone and all. So, yes. Every time I get a new phone, something happens to it. When I had my iPhone, it fell into a sink full of hot soapy water. With my Pixel, I knocked it over. Oh no, that was my camera. I knocked my camera over in the bathroom. But with my Pixel, I've also knocked that over as well. I just don't happen to remember where I was. So every time I get a new device, something always happens to it. But all's well that ends well. It didn't get a scratch on it, and it's fine. So no worries there. I actually really love my phone for recording. It does such a good job. And yes, I still have these peroxide wipes that are made by Clorox that I bought from the thrift shop, cheap. I went under my bed the other day and fished out the box and got one out. The box is still full, other than now it's missing 2. But it's still full. I had actually forgotten about them, but they are good sanitizing wipes. They're peroxide based, and they seem to work good. The only thing I noticed is that I do need to wear gloves with them, because my hands are sensitive to the peroxide and they dry my hands out. So I've been using lots of lotion and stuff like that. I do have to tell you guys, I really have to work on my skills with working in the smaller spaces that I have. It's sometimes very hard to see what exactly I'm doing, and I apologize for that, but you get the idea that I'm just pulling things out of drawers and putting them back where they go, and if they don't go in there, I'm taking them out. And I really intended to get the camera more directed at what I was doing, but again, small space, things all over the floor, makes it hard to do. And peekaboo, here comes Maxie Boo again. Max has made himself right at home with us, and it's like he's always been here. He has been working very, very hard to show the older cats and the dogs who is the boss, which he assumes he's the boss. And he poofs himself all up and walks sideways on his tippy toes towards them while hissing. And the older cats just sort of roll their eyes and swat him away. And the dogs just think he's interesting, and they just want to sniff him, and he's not so sure about that. But it is what it is. He's really joined in and just become part of the crew. He is the funniest little guy to watch with all of his antics. The other night he had Greg's shoe, and he had his head in his shoe. Greg right now is wearing Crocs, and he had his head in there, and Bella was slowly taking the shoe and trying to take it away from him. and he kept shoving his head further in the shoe with his back feet on the floor, running along with the shoe so that she couldn't take it away. He loves shoes. He will constantly try to get into the shoes, and what he doesn't understand is he's getting bigger and don't fit into the shoe quite as well anymore. I think he's almost doubled in size since we got him. He went from barely being able to get up on my ottoman to getting on the couch to yesterday climbing up my living room curtains and onto the top of the table. So let's just say he's made himself quite at home. On another note, I am hoping for those of you that enjoyed the first one that the first week of November I should be able to release my free printable download, my Thanksgiving coloring book. I'm working on it as we speak. Well, not as we speak, but you know what I mean. It's one of my current projects that I'm working on, and it should include Mr. Max and a few of the other animals, and it will be a Thanksgiving coloring book, and I'm trying to get it to include a few other family members as well, but sometimes, because I do these coloring books with AI, which is artificial intelligence, and no, they are not hand-drawn. I am not that great of a drawer, but it takes a lot of time to explain to the AI what you want it to create and how you want it to look, and sometimes it just comes up with wonky ideas. So working around the wonky ideas, hopefully I can have my book done here fairly soon and release it the first week of November with nobody having 12 eyes or 13 legs. If you're watching what I'm doing, I am actually now going through my drawer that has tape and glue and all the sticky stuff in it. So anything that's not tape or glue is going to get taken out. And I do sort through my glue sticks, and all the mini glue sticks I get rid of because I no longer have a mini glue gun. Yes, I could have probably donated them somewhere, but I really just wanted them out of my space, so I will be honest with you, I tossed them. For those of you who are wondering how the thing with the curtain between the living room and my office is going, it's going good. I like the fact that if I do want to hold a conversation with somebody that's in the living room, I can just open up the curtain. And I like the fact that since I tend to be a little bit ADHD, which that's not a joke, I really am, I like the fact that I can close it and micro-focus on what I am doing in here. Because oftentimes, if I can see what's going on in the other room, my focus, it eventually just goes away. One thing I think I really need to work on in this room is probably like a 10-minute declutter every so often and make quicker decisions. You know, it was super easy to choose clothing-wise what would go and what would stay because I knew what was really just way too big and what I hadn't even touched or worn. So it was super easy to just get rid of it, because I don't want to go back to that size, so I don't want to keep the clothing because it's encouragement to go back to that size. But down here, it's a little bit different because it's craft stuff and things like that. And, you know, my I can't even speak. My photography stuff and, you know, office supplies and things like that. And it's much harder to just let that stuff go because eventually I may want to use it again. So when I make the decision to get rid of, you know, certain things, I'm making the decision that if I want to go back to that, I would have to re-spend that money again. And that kind of bugs me. And I wax and wane on my hobbies. So getting rid of things when I'm momentarily not in the mood to do them would end up costing me a lot of money. And it's a personality trait that is just who I am. And, you know, like the glue sticks, they were an easy choice for the simple fact that I'm not going to go back to a mini glue stick. And I know that because they don't get hot enough. But things like paints and beads and things like that, I will most definitely go back to. And I think we all know that crafting stuff and office supplies and things of that nature are very, very expensive. So I'd rather not double up on spending when I already have the stuff. I have tons of fabrics. Most are stored up under my bed. But as far as my office space, while it is cluttered, I don't mind it as long as the clutter is not like in your face. And for me, I think that's where deciding how much is too much comes in. Like in my kitchen, is it going to be to my advantage to move things so that they're not in my way or so that it's easier to clean? And the answer to that's yes, but do I necessarily want to get rid of things that I just recently bought or that I need? No. So I find other solutions around that. We have a storage closet up in the hallway. That helps. I am not a minimalist, and I could never be a minimalist. I like to have my things around me. Growing up as a child, I didn't have a lot. So as an adult, not that I want to hoard things, but I do like to have my things. What I am truly trying to say is I know that there's a trend towards minimalism. I know that, people like to have less. But I think as human beings, we all need to decide for ourselves what enough is and what makes you happy. And that is your starting point for deciding what to get rid of.
Really? Really?
And with black men, I'm at 32%, and 30% this is sort of throwing their phone.
So for me, decluttering and organizing is not just about seeing how much I can throw away or give away, which is always nice to do, but it's also about finding homes for things that need homes and knowing where everything goes. Like for me, this drawer system that I have, it works. I know where my vacuum cleaner parts are, but I also know that the cards don't go in there. So it works. My vacuum cleaner parts have been in there for a very long time, and that is a fan to my computer. And my Scentsy things have been where they are. My sewing stuff needs organized, or I need to get a sewing box. But for now, I know where the stuff basically is, but that's not organized or grouped together in any way, so it kind of doesn't work. But it doesn't mean that I want to get rid of my sewing stuff either. I did go through my sewing stuff at one point. I got rid of some threads that I wasn't using and things like that, but what's left I do use. This bin is kind of a throw for all at this point. And I am getting rid of some things that have been sitting in here. So, just deciding what you really need, and most of all, deciding where it goes and what kind of system you're going to use to keep it where it needs to go. Like with my kitchen, everything in there that I did this last time worked out perfectly. But I do think that as I grow and evolve as a person, that my office / craft space is going to grow, change, and evolve right along with me. For now, my focus is having a clearer desk so that I have room to edit and do things that I need to do with my videos, and having less clutter under my feet and everywhere else so that I can work and focus on what I'm doing. And that did get accomplished today. I will say I think one of the worst things about this room is, like I said, it tends to be a catch-all. That every time something doesn't have a place to go, here it is, in here. And it ends up getting pushed behind the couch, or getting pushed back this way, or pushed back that way. And before you know it, I'm sitting here, and I'm looking at all these things, and I'm annoyed and I want to sit down to voice over or to edit my video, and all I can think about is this growing pile of stuff around me, and it drives me insane because I know that it's not actually my stuff, or it's my stuff but it don't belong down here, and everything is in my space. Decluttering isn't always about throwing away, giving away, or donating. Sometimes it's about getting the things that are out of their home back to where they go. So today is October 27th. What have you gotten organized or decluttered this month? Or what do you want to finish within the end of this month, before the month ends? I mostly, at this point, want to get Halloween out of the way. Bella's excited about it. And I'm excited for her, but I do want to, get Halloween out of the way and start focusing on more family-oriented holidays, such as Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's. And really, I've decluttered everything in my home except my upstairs hallway storage closet, and the basement is going to need to be cleaned at some point. But for the most part, I've got everything how it should be, and it's prepared for, getting ready for the holidays, so I'm excited about that. I also have 3 more windows outside that need to be painted, whether I do them or Trevor does them. Either way, the issue is we've had a sudden drop down in temperature. It's been pretty cold out. I woke up this morning and it was at 32, and they're calling for some snow. I just had to take a quick coffee break, and I'm back to finish this video up because it is my goal to get it out on time today. And these things, most of them are coloring things. They need to go back on the shelf, and if you keep watching, that shelf will get organized to the best of my ability on this particular day. I'm just going to use this cute little box that one of my daughter-in-laws gave me a while back to store some of the things that are loose on my desk. That way they will be in one space and they will be easier to find and not all over my desk. The planner that you see me moving around, the one with the flowers on it, I actually need to throw away, but I have some information in it that I need to copy to my other planner first. So I keep kind of shuffling it around because I want to throw it away, but I do know after a while I realize that there's information in it that I'm going to need. The thing that I'm wiping down here is a light pad. It's for tracing, or in my case, when I do vinyl and I'm weeding it out, I use it so that I can see where the lines are at. It makes it easier to pull the negative space out of the vinyl cutouts. And that's it. My small home office is already feeling much more organized and manageable. I hope this episode inspired you to tackle your own space too. Remember, it's not about perfection, it's about making improvements that work for you. Stay tuned for the final episode of Fall Into Organization, where I'll be wrapping everything up we've worked on and preparing the house for the holidays. You won't want to miss it. And as always, happy cleaning.